gonna steal your sunshine and I'll shit on your parade. Don't get me started on doing Michael Caine. My opinion matters, yours will fall in last place. I'm not shutting up and you'll be learning my name. Fifth in the family, but first in my mind. 1 out of 10, but I'm ranking just fine. We've only got now, there's no afterlife. Look, Mom and Dad, I'm just speaking my mind. Everything's coming up Kyle tonight. Everything's coming up Kyle tonight. Everyone's coming on Kyle tonight. Wait, what? No, nobody's coming on Kyle tonight. Everything's coming up Kyle tonight. You can't shut this mouth, but you're welcome to try. I only stop talking and drink, smoke, or eat and cry. I never shut up, gonna talk till I die. Gonna talk till I die. Everything's coming up Kyle tonight. You can't shut this mouth, but you're welcome to try. I only stop talking and drink, smoke, or eat and cry. I never shut up, gonna talk till I die. Gonna talk till I die. Gonna talk till I die. Gonna talk till I die.
Oh, welcome everybody. Welcome to what is this? Season 4, episode 13.
500.
Season 5412. Season 4, episode 13. Lucky number 13 on season 4. And I am your host, Kyle Mocha, here for Kyle Mocha Won't Shut Up. We are currently experiencing a minor technical difficulty that we are hopefully going to get figured out. We do have a very special guest today, so hopefully he is going to be available not only in audio. I'm seeing his face now on my side of the camera.
Okay.
And are you good?
We are good.
You're good, so I'm just going to see James, though.
You're just going to
see
see
James.
James.
All right, fine, fuck it. All right, fuck it.
I got you on chat.
You got me on chat. You're covering chat. Well, speaking of who's
not
got me
shit
covered
over
on chat, it is Mr. Justin Olimpado.
Hey,
Mr.
man.
Justin Olimpado.
Hi.
How's your day going, brother?
It's all right, man.
Yeah, it's not a bad. It was a very gorgeous day today. It was a very
Yes, it
actually
was.
nice day.
Yeah.
It was an enjoyable day to. I mean, we didn't really do much. We did some brief shopping and then we came right back here.
Yeah.
But it was a nice day to look at. It was a very nice day to look at. I thoroughly enjoyed looking at it from inside your vehicle and then
Yes.
from inside this houseboat. Tommy Lee Jones. Joining us also, as always, is Mr. Zachary Stormin, slowest open ever. Oh. And that's some poop right out of his butt right off the bat. That is perfect. That is exactly... Oh, God. Wonderful. This is what you tuned in for, people. All right, guys. And as I said, our technical difficulties are handled. Justin is the man. He's on top of it. We are joined also by Mr. Jameso. How's it going?
Can you hear me?
I do.
Oh, he's got him muted still?
Nope.
Nope.
Wrong. Yeah, thank you.
There we go.
Hello?
Can I hear you?
Yeah, can you?
Yeah, I can hear you. There we go.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Wonderful. We've only been doing this for 4 seasons and 13 episodes. So, yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it all out one day. But thank you, everybody, for tuning in here live, 9 o'clock on YouTube on the Houseboat, Tommy Lee Jones, or if you're listening in the future on Spotify. Now, we have Spotify. We are officially, all of our episodes are on Spotify. You can listen to them there. Or also, you could stick with the old standby Apple Podcast, or as I like to call it, the iTunes. And if you're not,
neither of the. It's just podcasts.
Podcasts.
Yeah.
Okay, I just call it Apple Podcast.
Is it?
I thought it was Apple Podcast or Stitcher.
That's what it is now.
Yeah, I'm not sure about things. Again, I'm calling it the everything. That's we were talking about this earlier. Actually, like, are there bands that you know that are called like the so like? Is Alkaline Trio, or the Alkaline Trio? Or
it's just Alkaline Trio.
Just Alkaline Trio. We were talking about bands that like switch back and forth, but also how you would never say like, "Oh, I listened to the new The Beatles record," and you would never say that. You would say, "I listened to the new Beatles."
The Strokes is
the
pretty
new The
good,
Strokes
though.
and that's where this all started. We were listening to the new The Strokes. And that is one that from now on I am just going to say The Strokes for everything.
Yeah.
My favorite The Strokes song, like that's how I'm going to preface anytime I talk about any songs I like from them. But yeah, we got a lot in store for you today. A lot of questions, really. This is a whole question-filled episode. We're going to get into some really weird shit during what is our normal guest segment. Usually when James is on, we do beer tastings or we do soda tastings or something like that. With the situation that everybody's dealing with right now, it's kind of hard for us to say pick 6 beers that we all go out and get and then make sure they're right. So what we're doing is going to be a little different. We are going to be playing kind of a game that is basically how much would it cost. I'm going to propose a situation and you guys are going to tell me how much it would cost for you to go through that situation. $8. That's Zach's answer for everything in life.
Yep.
$8 always. How much to mow this giant field? $8. Damn it, Zach! Why you're not allowed on the pitches? You're not allowed to pitch when we mow the pitch. It's a double entendre for pitch.
I'm not allowed on either pitch.
You're not allowed on either pitch. Yeah. No football fields for you.
A bid, not a pitch.
All right, whatever. I don't know business.
It's called a bidet.
It's called a bidet.
Not old splashy boy.
I can call it old slashy boy if I want to.
Ooh, old splashy boy.
Old splashy my butt boy. All right. Well, as always, we like to do a couple different things here on the show. We like to drink beer and we like to talk about shit that's going on in the world. So why don't we start right off the bat with what the hell are we drinking tonight?
We drink it so you don't have to. Review it in the morning from the bathroom. Cheap booze and craft brews. Review it in the morning from the bathroom. What are we drinking? What are we drinking? Yeah!
Oh yeah, check it out. All right. Okay, so now we are drinking 2 different things. As always, I have the question: do we want to go with the most likely bad thing first, or do we want to go with the thing that is probably going to be good first? And I think we usually go with the bad, right? Last week we did the cranberry first, so why don't we go with the bad? Now, first thing, Justin, you picked out both of these today.
Well, we had something else.
We did have something else, but it was just obnoxious. It
What
was
was it
it
again?
was a milkshake IPA.
Oh, yeah,
was what
yeah,
the
yeah.
name of it was. It was a milkshake
I'm
IPA.
going to be honest. The one I think is going to be bad is the beer.
Is the beer? You don't think that's going to be? All right. Well, we've got 2 for you today. We've got Malibu Splash Lime and Coconut,
Right.
which is a sparkling malt beverage with natural flavors. 5% alcohol, 12 fluid ounces. I hate coconut. I hate we almost went with the Pickled Ghost today.
No, we saw
What
it,
the
and I
fuck
was
is a
like,
pickled ghost?
A
Pickled Goes.
Goes like
It's
a sour.
It's
So
like
a
a
pickle
key
flavored
lime pie,
sour.
but pickled
Yeah.
with pickles.
Wow.
Yeah. And but it's from Flying Dog, and we did Flying Dog last week, and we were like, maybe we just keep going with that.
Yeah.
But we opted out of that. So we've got this Malibu Splash. So I think we'll start with that, and then we'll go on to the beer. Zach doesn't think the beer is going to be good.
It smells like suntan lotion.
Oh, James,
Oh yeah, it does.
what do you got sipping on over there, brother? Anything fun for you tonight?
I'm
drinking
a Yards Sons of Ben. Says a rowdy pale ale at 5%. It tastes really good.
Hell yeah.
Ben Franklin was a rowdy fuck, or so I
He
read.
was. He had lots of diseases, lots of women, and lots of drugs.
This tastes like
he was a
suntan
rapper.
lotion.
he was like the lifestyle, like the hip hop lifestyle of the 1700s. Ben Franklin.
Is that carbonated? Yeah.
Yeah,
It
it
is
tastes like
carbonated.
suntan lotion smells.
It really does. I feel like I'm licking a stripper, and it's not good.
It
yeah,
It looks like they're going for the White Claw thing, but is it anything like that at all?
No.
it's super sweet,
It's
dude.
super sweet. The lime is the only thing that's kind of helping. The lime kind of comes in on the end a little bit more for me. The coconut is just it's coconut water. It tastes like coconut, like carbonated coconut
Yeah, but
water.
I like coconut water.
And this, but with Malibu, like it's Malibu coconut, which isn't real. Malibu just does taste like suntan lotion.
I don't want to drink any more of that.
Yeah,
honestly.
that's not. I'm gonna wind up sipping more of it.
Justin
and
tapped
I want
out.
to.
4 sips and I'm good.
Yeah, well, that's bad.
It has the mouthfeel of Sprite though. Like literally, it doesn't.
Yeah,
Like it goes
yeah,
down
it sort of
like
tastes
Sprite.
like Sprite, coconut.
I
Yeah,
drank all
coconut
of it.
lime Sprite. How do you feel after that?
Dude, like a fucking
You feel
like a breeze.
a breeze just washed
A breeze
right through.
washed through me and the bay.
Oh,
A
nice.
breeze washed me through the bay.
What?
Oh, that's
Malibu.
how have you not ever felt that the Malibu breeze washing through your bay? All right, the second beer. What do you? Or the second beverage? Oh, the only beer really besides our lucky streak that we're on right now is CBC, which is Cambridge Brewing Company, and it is rhymes with ukulele. Rhymes with ukulele.
That's a stupid name.
It is, but it's a New England style IPA, which is one of Justin's favorites, and I've grown to like it because it's a little bit more on the mild.
Yeah, it's a
side.
mild IPA. Like it's
And-
not. There's like the hops aren't like as harsh.
Yeah, and the can isn't as dirty as that big can we had last week.
It's still dirty.
I literally opened the other one after we were done and took a sip, and I'm looking down at the sip of the cranberita, and I forgot to clean it off, and it was just there was so much dust and again probably fecal matter in there. Zach, have you taken a sip? Oh, you haven't even cracked into it yet.
Fecal matter.
All right, rhymes with
No,
ukulele.
it's good.
Ooh, 6.25%.
Triticale.
Smells really just kind of blah. Doesn't really have a crazy smell to it. And that's weird. That is a more like velvety mouthfeel. That doesn't have
it's
like a
good.
crazy bite in the back or anything. It's really mellow. It still does have that like pine sol-y like thing that you get from a lot of IPAs.
It's like it's like if you were in like a really high end like Bentley or something and
Yeah.
with really nice brown leather.
Yeah.
And you spill the IPA on that and then you lick that shit off to clean.
This tastes like
That's oddly specific.
Yeah, this tastes like it's been spilt in a Bentley. That's exactly what it tastes like.
Well, like you're
100%.
licking a good IPA off some really good leather.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's like there could be worse surfaces and worse beverages. But that's good. I really like it. I'm not one I'd probably drink too many of. Do you remember what this ran you on the 4-pack for this guy?
I don't know. Between the two of them, it was like $15.
Oh, so yeah, this is not bad at all. Hell yeah. All right, so if you're in the market for something that tastes like you licked a stripper's asshole, get the Malibu Splash Lime and Coconut. And if you want something that tastes like you licked a really nice leather seat in a Bentley after you spilt beer on it, get the Rhymes with Ukulele. Does anything rhyme with ukulele? Is that the joke?
Did you read the fuck?
I did not.
said it.
I did not. I don't listen to you a lot.
Triticale.
Triticale.
Yeah, it's a tasty hybrid of wheat and rye.
Oh, yeah.
That's
This is another one of those beers that was named before they made it. This is like bands that had MySpaces before they had songs, which I was in like 8 of them.
Yeah, we all were.
Yeah. This is the equivalent to that. They definitely named the beer first. First. Oh, James, yours is doing pretty well over there. You got a couple different things you're going to be sipping on tonight, right?
I just got one so I don't have to get up in the middle of the show. So this other one in a can is Bell's Lager of the Lakes Bohemian Pilsner.
Which
that
is,
sounds
again,
good.
the coolest looking fucking...
It's got the Great
I went on a
Lakes.
Goonies kick because they did that Goonies reunion, and that definitely just kind of gives me that feel, like the old school map and everything. I've not had that. I definitely would try. I've never really been disappointed by anything Bell's related. Bell's Oberon is one of the best. It's so good.
Yeah.
6er of each earlier when I got some food and stuff, and
Hell yeah.
yeah, I'm good to stay home for a while.
Fuck yeah. All right. Well, guys, we every week I'm trying to find things that are not related to coronavirus to talk about, and I've failed. And I think actually this week I have 2 that are not related at all. So let's talk about what's happening in this fucking world. Hey, what's happening? Hey, what's happening in the world? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? guys, what is going on in the world? What's going on is Zach already has to pee. He just went, I'm not going to make it to the show, and ran. He just ran away. He's never coming back. I really hope we just hear explosive ass noises coming from above us, because he started the show almost shitting his pants. And maybe he shit his pants. Maybe that is what's happening in our world right now. And in the world of Zach's drawers. All right, guys. Well, the first thing that we're going to talk about that is happening in the world of entertainment. They have announced that they are going to be doing a prequel trilogy to the Hunger Games. They're going to be doing a prequel trilogy to the Hunger Games.
I'll watch it.
Yeah, I mean, like you were saying before, hopefully they're dark. Like hopefully it's like really they go like the people that went to go see this when they came out. It's 10 years on. Hopefully they're like, these people are adults, but most likely we're gonna get the Star Wars treatment, and we're gonna get a shitty, like, overproduced, overthought out. And the storyline is following young Donald Sutherland, which maybe they're going to cast somebody. It's not going to be Kiefer Sutherland. That would be a good choice, but it's not going to be him because they're going really young. I really just hope they give 80-year-old Donald Sutherland de-aging and just have him act as like a 17-year-old kid through the whole fucking movie. But it's going to be all about his rise to power and him becoming the evil man that he is. I think it's Snow. And immediately all of the comparisons to his personal history that you can find out by reading Hunger Games are being thrown out there to be like, hey, so basically you are giving us Phantom Menace and then Attack of the Clones and then Revenge of the Sith. Like, you are giving us the exact story arc. He's got a parent that dies really early on. He's kind of like left to like raised by other people. So
I mean, it sells, right?
It's going to sell. Like, it's going to sell. I don't think I'm going to see these in theaters unless the previews look really fucking, like, killer.
Yeah.
But I'll definitely, when they're on, USA in 6 months after their release, and I can just put them on and not care about commercials. I don't even have cable, but I'll get cable just to kind of blasé watch the Hunger Games prequel. What I want to ask you guys is, are there any movie series, or even if it's just a standalone movie, that you always were hoping for a prequel to, like a storyline that maybe you kind of thought of, or that they alluded to that they never got around to? James, did anything pop into your head?
Actually, well, they kind of did it with Casino Royale, but I always wanted like a version of James Bond that showed him becoming who he is.
Like him, like fresh out of like military or something like that, and being like turned.
Well, sort of like Kingsman is. I mean, it's not James Bond, but.
Well, with Casino Royale, they showed him like getting his like promotion to 00 agent. Yeah. And they showed, I mean, they implied heavily this is the first time he'd like killed anybody. Oh. And all that stuff. So like, because he needed. Yeah, and he like actually has character development in that movie, so it's much more believable that like, hey, this is him just like on his first like job this crazy, Like,
that fucking chair scene in that movie where he's getting the balls whipped underneath the chair. That's one of the most painful things I've ever seen. But yeah, so like an early, like, would you go like his childhood into like what like created?
His childhood's not that interesting. They talk about that like in the most recent one. They talk about that. And it's like also in Skyfall, it's about like going back to the house he lived in as a kid, and so I feel like that's not nearly as interesting as like him actually becoming who he. I feel like going back to like a character's childhood is like.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, if
probably too
there isn't always something there. Like this, it doesn't always have to be pod racing,
Yeah, exactly. But when it can be pod racing, I do kind of enjoy.
I mean, I'll take a whole.
Like when it makes sense. Like you wouldn't do a prequel like the Jack Ryan novels, where like Jack Ryan's a teenager. Like who gives a.
Yeah, like they're already doing the Amazon show that seems to be watched by somebody. It's still on. Like they're still making it, and there are a billion shows, and it's getting remade. Or getting made, new seasons every year. But yeah, Justin, we were talking about this a little bit earlier. You had an idea for what movie you would like to see, or a character or a story that you'd like to see a prequel. What was that again?
Indiana Jones.
Yes, but not young Indiana Jones. You want to see Dr. Henry Jones Sr. as like him. Like his
like
story,
before Indy.
Him making the book, like him making the Holy Grail book, like a whole thing about that. Now, is there anybody that you think could convincingly pull off Sean Connery? Because his son is probably already like 50 years old or 60 years old, who played Ian Fleming in a made-for-TV movie about Ian Fleming, his son, in a very very keen choice there. They really swung for the fences on getting a Connery to play a Fleming. Anybody that you think could pull off a young Sean Connery that's in the world that we know of,
Not off the
acting?
top of my head.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Aged.
You'd have to get. It would be less about sounding like him and maybe more about kind of capturing like his stature and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like Sean Connery's like this tall like guy. He has like a big fucking face and stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's more about kind of nailing someone's aura more than like do a Sean Connery impression, which would be
because
awful.
you can't just get Daryl Hammond to go out and do it. Even though Daryl Hammond's also like 65 years old.
His Sean Connery actually looked terrible, but it sounded funny.
It sounded great, but it was literally like if you just took a picture of that and you had never seen it and you just saw a picture of him, you'd be like, he's just an old guy. Like he's just playing.
If he'd done a different voice, he could have done Orson Welles. You know what I mean? Like, he looked exactly like both of them.
If he slowly started to eat himself, he could have definitely had done Orson Welles. I've always kind of wanted to see the.
Zach said Jack Ryan as an infant.
Jack Ryan is a baby. Yes, baby Jack Ryan, just kicking ass. That's Boss Baby? That's the movie Boss Baby. We'll just say that's young Jack Ryan. I always wanted to see the background story of Splinter becoming Splinter in Ninja Turtles. I wanted to see the full story that they kind of allude to in the beginning of Secret of the Ooze, where they show like the ooze breaking and him. But there's a whole thing about him being trained and watching his master, and I would love to see like a full in Japan and then the turmoil that the owner. So I really want to see a movie about this guy with a pet rat, and in the last 4 minutes of it, the sentient pet rat touches some ooze next to a bunch of baby turtles, and then you go, oh, like a real under the radar sequel about him, because who knows what the fucking Splinter's master's name was. Nobody remembers that shit. You get away with the whole movie. I think
I actually totally do.
You do?
What is it?
Yeah.
What is his name?
I believe it was Masato Yoshi.
Masato Yoshi. I believe
maybe.
That sounds correct enough for me to say.
Or that's Shredder's name. It's one of those two people.
Those two? All right.
Yeah.
See, even that.
Because Splinter says that name.
A young Shredder, I would take too. A making of Shredder, like him becoming like a badass. And again,
I think they fucked up making those movies PG-13. They should have just made an adult version of Turtles.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Like,
they really
fuck it.
like build up to it. What they did fuck up with the most in that is making a third live action movie where they time travel and space travel. They're not only moving back in time, they're moving from New York to like 16th century Japan or whatever, and none of them look the same. New voice actors come in and everything, and then at some point they go, I think at the end they go back and they're just joined by a bunch of Japanese dudes from the past in the present day in a bathtub. What was that?
Wasn't there the reboots?
There was
I saw the first one of the reboots.
Yeah,
But it was PG-13, right? It wasn't rated R. It wasn't a rated movie. Yeah,
oh God, no.
No, I thought the original comic for that though was supposed to be like really fucking.
The original comic was a little edgy. I remember looking at a couple scans a long time ago. Maybe when I was in high school.
I mean, it makes sense.
I think a teacher mentioned that she had them back in the 80s or whatever. It was like, yeah, they were black and white, and the turtles look different, and it's a lot like more violent and edgy. Like they actually kill people. I don't know.
See,
They don't just throw trash cans at Shredder. You know what I mean?
See, I would even take that. Zach, so Baby Jack Ryan is good. Any ideas for any characters or any movies that you would like to see a prequel to that they've never put out a prequel of? Anything? I'm saying the story of Splinter becoming Master Splinter.
Yeah, I know. I was watching the show.
Yeah, I know. I'm just repeating to kill dead air.
I want a prequel to Passion of the Christ.
Oh, called Passion of the Moses? So wait, they've already done, because I mean technically like any story about Noah is a prequel to Passion of the Christ, but do you want Mel Gibson to do it? Is that what you want to see his version of like David or Joseph in the Dreamcoat, like him doing like a real brutal, throwing a kid into a den with like a lion and all that shit? You get real brutal. Mel Gibson loves tormenting certain types of people.
Or what about if it's a prequel to The Shining, but it's a comedy that's like if Scrubs were the housekeepers at the hotel.
So before anything evil happened.
Yeah, the end of the series is the day that Jack shows up with his family.
Hell yeah.
But it's just the misadventures of some housekeepers way up on this hotel
and
in the
the
mountain.
janitor, who is just played by the janitor
And I guess
from
there
Scrubs.
still could be like the haunted rooms and stuff,
Yeah.
you know.
But it's so whatever
it's
to
funny.
them. Yeah,
But
they're just like, oh look, the twins are back.
Or like The Office, you
That's
know,
kinda
something
like-
shot funny like that.
They do the Star Trek Lower Decks. It's a mini series online. It's called Star Trek, I think, Lower Deck. Where it's just the story of the people that are just like somewhere else on the Enterprise, doing mundane daily tasks, like the accountant on the
Robot
Enterprise.
Chicken did skits of that, like
Yeah.
the Night Crew.
Night Crew.
Night Crew was
they
good,
actually,
yeah.
no, I think they took that and they turned that into like a series, yeah. But it's just like an online only short series.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I had another thing to talk about, but it's boring at this point. What we got going on in the chat? Anybody chatting along in there before we jump?
It's just Zach.
Just Zach bullshit.
Yeah, talking about
Just
the
Zach
wiping
bullshit.
game.
No, I was saying
Donald
Simon
Sutherland
Pegg
flavored.
is young Connery.
Ooh, Simon Pegg.
Have you seen Simon Pegg lately? He's not playing young anybody.
He's not playing young.
I
anybody.
haven't been.
But
paying
you could
attention.
make
Is
him.
he old man now?
He's like
He's
50. Yeah,
looking
like
his
50,
age, yeah. Well, he like lost weight or whatever, so like
got
his
in
face
really
is
good
thinned
shape
out.
for every Mission Impossible movie, basically.
Pretty much, yeah.
Jonah
Oh, is he
Hill
hanging out with
young
Tom Cruise
Sean
now? Is that what it is?
Jonah Hill. You want fat Jonah Hill though, right? Like
Didn't he get fat again?
He's just constant. He's like worse than Oprah with the fluctuating back and forth.
Oh, really?
It is all over the place. All right, guys. Well, we've got a very what we got? What do you got?
Lil Nas X.
Lil Nas X.
That's young Connery.
That's young Connery. All right, that would work. That would work. Everything but it works visually. It wouldn't work. I don't think you could pull off the accent. I just don't think you could do it. Visually, though, it's stunning. All right, guys. So today we have a very odd and very special featured musical guest. It is. I'm assuming, because there's not really much known about them, that Vulgarity Inc. is the name of their like conglomerate. And it is basically a South Philly rap group. And this song itself is from two guys that call themselves Mr. Falcon and Rosebud. The song that we're going to be playing is called Park Bench. And it is just, again, it's from 2012. They released this. This is the last thing they released, and they never released anything else. And it fell into my lap just
Is this
kind of...
the first thing they released?
There are 2 or 3 other releases on their Bandcamp, and if you're interested in finding them on Bandcamp and hearing more from this, it is the best URL I will ever say in the history of this show. It is anusfuck.bandcamp.com is the URL. So anusfuck, one word, .bandcamp.com.
Remember to
hear
get the
Park
Bandcamp in there.
Yeah.
You just anusfuck.com?
Anusfuck.com's a way
different site.
You're gonna see Mr. Fucking, not Mr. Falcon on that. All right,
But
so
you are gonna see Rosebud.
there are a lot of weird little like throw-ins to pop culture in this. Again, it's from about 8 years ago. It was a very independent release, and it was anonymously submitted. I'm assuming either by somebody that's a part of it, or maybe it's somebody that is just a fan of it and they wanted to hear it played on something again. So here is Park Bench from Mr. Falcon and Rosebud. It's about 4.5 minutes long. We will see you guys in a couple minutes. Enjoy.
My Rosebud hurts.
Dirty Ink, no hot shit. 2012, Falcon Rosebud coming through. Joints, South Philly shit. A word. About to kick it. Park bench in the city, sitting stone scholars. Pen starts moving, the result is flawless. Park bench in the city, sitting stone scholars. Pen starts moving, the result is flawless. Mr. Falcon and Rosebud always smooth like Keystone. Dropping in with a 30 rack, ready to bone. Never alone, can't sit on a bench and rock rhyme. Without motherfuckers snapping pictures, they walk by. Ghetto bird in the sky, keeping eyes on our shit. Light up a split, pass it off to young kids. Corrupting the youth, we're running cool. We're screwing the pooch, brewing hooch. Spitting lines till you're blue in the tooth. Can't put us on mute, follow my route to the truth. It'll be a hoot. Get on your knees, blow me like a flute. Unzip
my zoot suit. Let me shoot, give us the boot. If she ain't cute, you don't believe me, I'll show you proof. Woo, that rhyme scheme was unskewed, kicking shit better than Dr. Seuss. Call me Ted Geisel, heading west like 5. I run with blood like the Nile from a plague in the Bible. I'm straight gutter, grimy as fuck, smooth like butter. Philly's new mayor on the phone with Mike Nutter. Girlies love the kid cause I make their hearts flutter. Torture rap flow so cold make you shudder. Still the dungeon master like the Spanish Inquisition. In the hood, no shirts, my favorite position. No hoe ever leaves of her own volition. Not till my creme fresh comes out of the kitchen. I'm on so many drugs that my heart's a twitching. Can't go to sleep at 8 a.m. still wishing. Got some Queen Steez at the beauty shop dishing. Super fun polluter when I'm a load shooter. Semen laced with arsenic, so don't drink it, scooter. Bomb so big, get it clean with rotor-rooter. ENIAC basement, mainframe computer. Young Steve Jobs building PCs in the tent. Babel's not moving, got feces to vent.
Park bench, Center City, sitting stone scholars. Head starts moving, the results is flawless. Park bench, Center City, sitting stone scholars. Head starts moving, the results is flawless.
Alright, Bulgaria incoming through for round 2. Better get ready. I'm like a squirrel in the park. I put my nuts in strange places. The breeze coming through is really flapping my pages. I ain't got no cash cause I ran through my wages. I spent it on booze and weed cause that's what the rage is. The stage is set for me to get fucked up. Shooting a snuff film at a rubbing tub. Assistant director is my man Rosebud. Smacking bitches with a glove. That enough? Nah man, let's work on the sequel. My mentality's evil. Don't give a fuck about other people. My pants are a church and my dick is a steeple. Bust my knot in the preschool. I'm medieval and fecal. On some black plague shit. Got a ring around the rosy at the tip of my dick. Don't make me get livid. My imagery's vivid. I like my bitches big titted and my olives pitted. Keep my testicles seedless like grapes. Lift kilos of product. Try to keep in shape. Catch me on tape when I masturbate. Stick my dick in the crate and serve it to my date. Make her lactate. A mixture of calcium, sulfate, and ether. Mr. Falcon pumpkin eater like Peter. Rose butter, the kid have elevated the meter. I look at you one sheeter, warrants that you feed her. Pass me the slip, cause it's a panic reliever. Bring me back to the park where we started the fever. Call me Rocky, flow boulder like a mountain. Pod to the last power is the millions I'm counting. Hot rock flow similar to magma. Still waters run deep but never stagnant. I'm the ghost, smoke summer's drug. Brothers call me Bilbo Baggins. Good weed in the Shire, we call it Tabak. Ain't no TV dinner, but I'm hungry, Jack. Crossing the border with a kilo in my ass crack. That's how I get my cash wrapped. Himmler's Luger in my bootstrap. Come with the dude, I'm drinking White Russians.
Park bench, Center City, sitting stone scholars. Pen starts moving, the results are flawless. Park bench, Center City, sitting stone scholars. Pen starts moving, the results are flawless.
All right, that again from Vulgarity Ig.
Wow.
That's excellent.
Mr.
Holy
Falcon
shit.
and Rosebud, Park Bench. That I need. Are the lyrics posted on there on
Fucking
Andy's
should be.
Band?
I'm
No,
like
no,
a
it's
squirrel in
not.
the park. I put my nuts in
Strange places.
Yes.
Also, I keep my nuts seedless like grapes. That's
Or when he said
That's really
something, I
good.
like my women big titted, my olives pitted, and then my pants are a church and my dick is the steeple. Oh my god,
Unreal.
That is brilliant. So thank you to the anonymous tip on that to whoever you are. We thoroughly
appreciate it.
enjoy and appreciate that. All right, guys. So last week we wrapped up our pop punk album, and before we start talking about this week's, James-O, you got to be there at the start of the pop punk. You were on 7 weeks ago now, and you got to contribute to the first song. I had said initially before all this shit broke out, which is crazy that it was that long ago, it was before all this shit happened and we were actually able to see people, that I was going to try to get people that I was like, I knew liked pop punk, and you and I have very similar taste in pop punk. People can hear all about that on that last episode that we had you on. What I want to ask you is, you've listened to each of the songs that did you listen
pretty
to last
much, yeah.
week's?
I've heard. I think I've heard all the ones that were put on YouTube. Anyway, I think all of them.
Yeah,
are
so
up,
all
right?
of them are up on YouTube. Do you think, I'm not expecting you to have listened all the way through as one consecutive album, but do you think, A, that we pulled it off? Do you think it's a pop punk album? And B, do you think it would work as an album itself? And maybe also, are there any pop punk tropes that we horribly missed out on?
Okay. All right, man. It's a lot of questions. First
I have
one.
4 more before you. Just
Okay. So the first one was, did you guys pull it off?
Yeah.
Or
yeah. Did we make a pop punk album? Would you call it a pop punk? Album?
It is mostly a pop punk album. Yes.
Mostly because it's still Brunch making a pop punk album. So
Well, that's the thing. Yeah. Like, there was one song in particular. I was gonna send you a text with like a link and just put pop punk with a question mark.
Yep.
But I was like, but it wasn't bad.
Yeah.
It
was just like-
Yeah, it was the fifth song.
Yeah,
The fifth song was
it almost had
definitely-
like no pop, but it had like, I think there was like a part with the vocals that had that kind of like angsty pop punky sort of thing
That
going on
was
with them at least.
a lot of
So,
what I
like-
feel like happened was we would wind up writing the song and Zach would just go, now make it pop punk with your voice, asshole. Basically.
Well,
Like,
the later ones too, when we got more into the modes, it got harder.
Yeah.
Oh,
it did.
yeah.
Like it's like, oh,
I bet, yeah.
I can't play this chord because the notes that I want aren't in it. So
Yeah.
like we had to work around.
Yeah,
it,
we,
you
we,
know?
we set a strict rule for us. All right, so we mostly
But-
pulled it off. We mostly pulled it off.
Well, I think you made like good. I think a couple. I want to say 1 or 2 of the last. It might. It might have been the last one or the fourth one. There was one of those. I can't remember what the order was. One of them really stood out to me. I'm like, fuck, this is great. I might have even like left a comment on it. Like,
You
like,
were,
this is a
you were in
fucking-
the chat when we were playing it live.
Oh,
and
okay,
you
yeah, I was
said-
listening
you were
live
like,
and
this
yeah.
is the best thing that you guys have you've done in a long time or something along those lines. Yeah.
Yeah.
The hook, you
you
really like the
definitely.
hook on it.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, you guys just knocked it out of the park. I was really, really feeling it. I was digging it. It was cool.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, I'd have to listen to them all again, like in order to be like, does this feel like an album or not? Or
Okay.
because
Fair enough.
I know.
Now, are there any
But,
pop punk
yeah.
tropes then that you were hoping to get? Because we try to get like the like backup vocals, like the naughty naughties and the woes and stuff like that. We didn't do over the top a lot of that, but we were trying to work that in. Is there anything that you were hoping that if you had been here for every episode writing that you would have made sure we got in that we missed? Anything really big on there?
I think it would have been fun to hear you do like a Bad Religion impression.
Oh, okay, all right.
Just like really wordy lyrics really quickly over like a really fast song,
He
but
is
not
super
super
wordy.
tuneful, but just, kind of talking in syllables and that.
Okay, yeah. We didn't really do
that would have been
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
But that's.
That's a band that I absolutely can't stand.
You don't like?
I know.
Oh,
Zach
okay.
doesn't like Bad Religion. That's
Oh.
fine. Not,
I
but,
just, I like the tone of his voice. It's almost vaudevillian. They're like da 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 da. Just like. certain
but they also have
songs.
like super tuneful like 4-part harmonies and shit. too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But yeah, what was it? Another thing that would have been fun is well, I guess this is
James, I lost your video.
Oh really?
we lost your video, but we can still hear you.
I can hear you. Yeah.
All right. So with the we're gonna get that working up and running. Technical difficulties. All right. So
Yeah,
that again, we wrapped up the pop punk.
There we go.
Oh hey, there's that pretty face again. All righty. Yeah. So anything to add to what?
Yeah,
the
there was
project
I just wanted to hear like a straight up like you know how like like some of those like 90s West Coast bands just fucking shred the fucking like Lagwagon or like
Yeah.
some of the No Effect stuff, they just like go nuts. Like hearing something like that, but like with one of those crazy like oohs and ahs kind of chorus like going over it, like that would have been nice. But that's like, I don't know, that's really specific shit.
Oh
I
yeah,
just-
yeah. All right.
mark
cool.
out for it,
All
but-
right. So I think overall we did a pretty good job.
Oh yeah, it was
again,
fun music. I
All
think,
of the
yeah.
songs off of Modes ... Love the DMV are available for you to hear on YouTube. I do believe that the thing that we nailed the most pop punk is the extremely wordy title of an album or a song. Like a 37 word title is just like the dumb. It feels like something Fall Out Boy would do because all their titles are so long that like they scroll constantly. Like by the time the song's halfway done, you've just finished reading the song. If you've got it like playing in your on your radio and you got one of the fucking LED things or whatever they're called.
Yeah.
Not LED, LCD,
Screen?
LCD sound system.
Yes.
All right, ELO.
Yeah.
Now we have transitioned. Now we don't know if we're going to be doing a full album. We're kind of like going kind of with the wind on this one.
Willy-nilly.
Now, about a year ago almost, I came into a piece of amazing equipment, and about 2 months ago, something, or in the last month actually, since the outbreak, it has been put to use. We are now the proud users of a Yamaha DX7, which is, Zach, can you give people a little history on,
It's
what it is and why it's so important?
First mass adopted digital FM synthesizer.
All right.
FM synthesizers were used circuits and stuff like that to create the sound rather than an analog synthesizer using like some sort of sine wave generator.
Okay.
This was all digital, but it's 1980s digital.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's not when
It's
you
still
think
pretty
of
analog.
when you think it's compared to what modern when you think of a modern digital thing, this is way
This
less
literally
than
has a
that.
cartridge input for a
That's awesome.
programmable
I
cartridge.
mean, but that's technically digital. You
it's
know
still
what I mean?
digital.
But
if you told
it's-
someone today you had to put a cartridge in their thing and then save it and then take it out and put it in a box and put it on a shelf, that's the most analog sound. That sounds like
Yeah.
something I would do just for fun, just to have a bunch of these stupid cartridges on like a shelf in my room.
No, the DX7 was used on countless 80s hits.
And the one producer that seemed to use it on everything is
Brian Eno.
Brian
Eno used it
Yeah.
exclusively when it first came out.
Yeah, and all of the stuff they did with the Talking Heads, pretty much every sound in the 80s that came out that is not the Beverly Hills Cop theme was made on this, or was used on some.
And even into the 90s, the theme from Rugrats is one of the stock sounds.
Yeah, one of the
weird.
stock.
Dun, dun, dun,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
crazy. Well, I remember we were going through it at first, and you were just like playing things, and we were like, "Oh wait, that's from that song," or like that's Final Countdown. Like it's
The
like
cool part,
you can just
though,
find
is
the presets.
it's a full. It's only it's 60 something keys, so it's not 88, but they're full size weighted keys.
Yeah.
Jeff
That's
wants
cool.
to know what bands would have used them.
Well, I mean,
use
yeah,
them.
like Talking Heads definitely used them. Pretty much.
a
any...
lot of it was big in studios, like Cyndi Lauper songs.
Yep.
Yeah.
You look
I
at
would bet
Flock
Prince
of
had one.
Seagulls, any
pop
of the
music,
wave,
yeah.
the new wave that was happening
It
in the
was
70s.
it was a big
in the
studio
80s,
tool
they wound
though,
up,
because you could get all those sounds in a smaller footprint than, say, a traditional analog.
Sure.
Or just getting a person to
synthesizer.
play a saxophone on
Yeah.
something. Like those sax noises are definitely have been used programmed.
Yeah,
in
but yeah, it's
songs
like that
time after
80s
time.
sound. It's like, oh, this is a sax, but this is not someone playing the sax.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Now, so we got that, and we were talking about what kind of music we wanted to make, and we said that we were going to go with dance music after we did math rock, we did pop punk, and now we're going on to dance music. We have thrown around the idea of a title of this album. It's not official. I don't think we have officially solidified what it is, so I don't know if we want to announce it here. I do like what you came up with, though, so if you wanted to just go with that,
Yeah,
we
go
could.
ahead, yeah.
So it is going to be, we'll just say it now. You're hearing it decided live. The album that this song is off of is going to be called Brunch and Kyle Mocha Are... Wait, oh shit, now I'm forgetting it. The Dance Guns?
The Dance Guns.
The Dance Guns with a Z at the end
That's
of
terrible.
Guns. Brunch and Kyle Mocha are the Dance Guns.
By Brunch and Kyle Mocha.
By Brunch and Kyle Mocha. Like, that is... So we're basically changing our name to the Dance Guns.
The Dance Guns.
For
yeah.
this.
Have you heard the new The Dance Guns?
The new The Dance Guns is a great... I love all of the Dance Guns albums and all of the new The Dance Guns songs. I think they're great. I always go to see the Dance Guns shows. You got to do it. Now, as far as the basis of writing the song, this is probably the first time we've ever done this. Since it's dancey and we were trying to write a hook, we wrote the melody for the chorus first, right off the bat.
Right.
You started fucking around on the keyboard, started throwing out a couple chords, and I had one phrase that I was just repeating over and over again because along with being the Dance Guns, this album, however many songs it winds up being, is going to be very different in the fact that every song is going to be based on a different show or movie that Justin or I are watching at that point.
Right.
Justin introduced me this afternoon to this really awesome, really funny show that's
Definitely
on
check
Netflix
this show
that
out.
is called I've sang it 48 times and I'm going to forget what it's called. I'm not okay with this.
Yes.
I'm not okay with this. And it's basically kind of like a Carrie meets Smallville, but if Stranger Things and fucking who were we saying before? It sounded like it felt like kind of a what's that director? Wes Anderson.
Wes
It felt like
Anderson,
Wes
yeah.
Anderson made a Stranger Things. It's kind of how it like mixed with Perks of Being a Wallflower. So it's all about a girl slowly realizing that she has these crazy powers. So the song lyrically is all about somebody realizing that they have these powers, and then the hook is just I'm not okay with this.
Right.
And so we wrote the hook first, and then you took that and you kind of ran with it. So what was the writing of it after we came up with the hook like for you? What were your focuses? What tropes from dance music were you trying to pull in at the beginning? And then final product, do you think we made a dance song?
Well, I had that before we even came up. I had that sound that
Yeah.
"Waiting for Tonight" by J-Lo piano.
Yep. It's literally.
My
God, it is
with
so
the synth
that.
and then some other effects and some plugins and stuff. I got
James
this.
will miss
I
some
cannot
really
wait
good
to hear this.
improv
This
rapping
cool,
happening over all these noises.
Electric piano sound, which
See,
I'm a huge fan of electric. Everything from Rhodes to like that. It sounds like a piano, but it's not.
Yeah.
It sounds like a digital.
Yeah,
piano. I like that. Like a soft.
the Mountain
round.
Goats a couple of years ago put out an album, or a few years ago put out an album that has like no guitar on it. Like all of the songs are with a Fender Rhodes.
Oh,
and it sounds
I
very
wish I could get a real Rhodes.
Yeah.
Eventually, I need
One
a
day.
bigger house.
Bigger,
I'm running
much
out of
bigger
space.
house. Much bigger house.
But
So
then we had Justin just do the drums on
Yeah.
top of that basic,
Yeah.
J-Lo piano thing.
Yep. And Justin, for the drums, what were you trying to? What was like? I know we threw
Just
out
simple groove,
we threw out
man.
the Prodigy while you were about to do that. Not Prodigy. We threw out the Prodigy. We're being very proper with this.
Yeah.
And there were some parts that were just kind of like a lot of 4 on the floor style drums, but then it was kind of just a keep it 4 on the floor, but go fucking nuts here.
Yeah, have fun.
Yeah.
It's just a dance song, so it's simple.
It's catchy. It's groovy. Again, we started with the hook. We slowly added everything. How many tracks individually are on this one?
I don't know. There's a bunch because
There's a lot.
There's electric piano. There's the synth leads. There's 3 or 4 tracks of guitar.
Yep.
There's 808s and regular real bass guitar.
Yep.
And drums and extra snares and lots of vocals. So it's pretty dense.
Oh,
and
man.
packed, too.
Now we obviously as
compared
we
to what
do,
we were just doing.
Oh, God, yeah.
Where it was like
bare bones.
Yeah, like two maybe 2 tracks.
Like let
of
the
guitar.
vocals and like kind of
Yeah.
take the lead on it. This one is all about everything coming together like a party. It's got to be a fucking party. It's got to be a good time. Do you think that what genre of dance music would you put this song in? Do you think
I don't even know if it's dance.
you don't know if it's dance anymore?
By the end of it, it came out being really well. It is dance. It came out sounding like overestimated. Like in that same feel,
Our
which is
wonderful old classic
Grimes.
Overestimated.
Grimes
Yeah.
is dance, and I also do absolutely love Grimes. And the new Grimes album it came out a couple months ago. It is so fucking good, but it's like alternative.
Because we also,
dance.
at least you and I don't know if Justin's listened to it all the way through. I spent the last 2 days listening to the new The Strokes album.
Yeah,
and the
that's
new
good
The
too.
Strokes album is super groovy and catchy and fun to the point where, like, not in a bad way, I had to keep checking my phone the second time I listened through it to be like, A, did I just listen to this song, or B, is this song still going right now?
Right.
Because it works so well as a whole album. And the last track on the new The Strokes album, just so you know, is called Ode to the Mets. And it's actually a really good song. It's a really great song.
Oh, yeah.
All right,
The album
so
was produced by Rick Rubin. Too,
Yeah.
The Strokes.
yeah, Keith said it sounds like it's got the Strokes, like, I don't know how he phrased it, but basically like they hung out with like Josh Homme a little bit for like a long weekend.
And they also hung out with a dude from Tame Impala, it sounds like.
Yep.
Because there's a lot of cool pads.
Yep, they got a lot of weird shit going on there. Now, what is the length that we got on this song? And again, the name is I'm Not Okay With This. What is like 4 minutes?
something.
Right around 4.5. We thought we were going to wind up with one of our classic 13 to 20-minute songs.
We could have done it.
We could have
that
really done
the
it.
bridge.
417.
417. All right.
We could do a club mix. Though,
We'll do a club remix
where
that
it's
goes
like
on
half
for
the amount
45
of
minutes.
vocals and twice the amount of instrumental.
Fuck yeah. All right.
Now also,
the
verses, Kyle.
Yep. What about the verses?
What
did we do on them?
We went for it.
We went for it. It's dance. We went. I said if you're gonna do it at any point, this is the time to do it. There is a wonderful amount of auto-tune on my vocals in the verses.
Boy.
But what we need to point out is that there is no auto-tune on anything in the hook at all.
But it sounds like it.
I recorded the verses with the auto-tune like adjustment, being able to hear it through the headphones while I was recording.
Oh, that's weird.
And then when I went to do the chorus, I thought it was going to be there, so I sang like it was going to be auto-tuned, and it wasn't. And then it just sounds like literally I have a point at the end of the hook. So no auto-tune. It's just three. It's a low me, a medium me, and a high me, and we are all singing together. And the dissonance between my vocals sounds like it's auto-tuned. A lot of auto-tune in the song, none in the hook. So let's jump right into I'm Not Okay With This. Go check out the show on Netflix. They really need our help plugging them. We'll be back in just over 4 minutes to hang out with James and ask some weird fucking questions.
Yeah.
Hit it.
Striking like lightning, a change from within. Is this really happening? Good thing I never fit in. The rage and the pressure, my head starts to spin. Each breath, every measure. My world's caving in. I'm not okay with this. I'm not okay with this. I'm not okay with this. Oh no. I'm not okay with this. I'm not okay with this. I'm not okay with this. Oh no. I'm pacing. I'm trying to find a way to begin. Controlling this spiraling, or do I just give in? There's no way of knowing the hell you can bring. Till pushed to your limits, and you let the power win. I'm not okay with this. I'm not okay with this. I'm not okay with this. Oh no. I'm not okay with this. I'm not okay with this. I'm not okay with this. Oh no. Something is happening in here. Something is happening in here. Striking like lightning, a change from within. Is this really happening? Good thing I never fit in.
I'm not okay with this. I'm not okay with this. I'm not okay with this. Oh no. I'm not okay with this. I'm not okay with this. I'm not okay with this. Oh no. I'm not okay with this. I'm not okay with this. I'm not okay with this. Oh no. I'm not okay with this. I'm not okay with this. I'm not okay with this. Oh no.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our next guest on Kyle Mocha Won't Shut Up.
Alrighty, again, there you guys have it. I'm not okay with this, our Brunch Weekly original single. But now we are joined by, he's been here the whole time, but now he's officially in the hot seat.
Yeah.
It is Mr. Jameso. Welcome back. I think we were talking about it last week. I haven't done a full tally, but this is just you and Mikey competing back and forth each week for who has. I have to believe you have the number one, but he is snuck in there randomly when it's like, oh, we had an episode with Mark and Mikey.
Thanks,
and
Jeff.
so there's like a it's a close race right now, but I think you're in the lead.
Well, what would make it even if we were on at the same time?
Oh, I mean, you'd have to get to the same number and then be guessed at the same time. I just think that I think you've probably been on like 8 times, 9 times, something like that. Like, I feel like it's got to be up there, and he's somewhere in that range. He did a couple episodes close together like a year ago. Like, he did the finale for one season and the premiere of the next season. But then again, you were on 6 weeks ago. So either way, we're keeping this competition going.
I've been on every episode.
Zach has missed one episode. You were not on the first episode.
Yes.
Officially.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you were not on. And then you were
That's
technically
canon.
the guest for the second episode. Because it was like, hey, you're here now. You weren't here last time.
Yeah.
Before we had a real guest. But for all intents and purposes, you've been here for every episode that matters, which is...
I'm so glad you said that properly. People say for all intensive purposes, and it drives me fucking crazy.
Yeah, I just think intense, you know.
I have an intensive purpose.
It's camping. That's my intense purpose is
I
camping.
hate camping.
I really don't do it that much. I
Camping
love
sucks,
I
let's
love the
be honest.
theory of camping. The theory, it's like soccer. I love the idea of soccer, but I don't want to actually do
Things that really suck bad: camping,
Yeah.
chewing gum.
You really
don't like chewing gum, no.
hate
But
chewing
like
gum.
chewing tobacco, which
I
is
don't
crazy.
chew it though.
He likes sucking it down.
Ugh,
Like sucking off a tobacco leaf. That's what Zach likes to do.
gross.
Oh. All right, so as I was saying earlier,
Chew on it.
we are going to be doing a game that I'm pretty much just calling How Much Would It Cost? I have 4 scenarios that I'm going to be throwing out to you guys. And I'm going to ask you how much it would cost for you to go through this specific scenario. You can answer any amount, like you can be whatever. Zach has already bid $8 on all of these, I believe. You can say whatever, and you can also just say, fuck no, I would never do that. Like in a million years, for like $1 billion, I would not do that, if that is what you really think. So, very simple, don't need to over-explain it. I'm going to throw out the first one so we can get this started. How much, and I'll go to Jameso first for his answer.
All right.
How much would it cost for you to sit in a hot tub wearing only protective underpants? I mean, like thick underpants that make sure that like everything is going to be protected, right?
I don't like where this is going.
And have hot New England clam chowder poured over your body until the hot tub is totally full, and you can totally submerge yourself into the hot New England clam chowder. How much would it cost? And would you do it? And what are the parts of it that you hate?
New England clam chowder is actually my favorite soup.
Right? That's what I was thinking.
So maybe the heat wouldn't be too fun if it was like fresh off the stove
Not
or something.
scalding,
But
like whatever the temperature it would be to know that it would not.
But no, you know
burn
what?
your
I wouldn't
skin.
hate that, and I wouldn't. I mean, I would demand some amount of money for that. But
And like,
I
okay,
don't know.
like thousands of dollars, hundreds of dollars.
Hey, you know what? For $1,000, I would
For
subject myself to that.
$1,000. For $1,000, you would. Okay. Justin, what about you? How much would it cost for you to sit in a hot tub wearing only protective underpants?
I'd do it for 10 grand.
10 grand?
Yeah.
10 grand. All right, 10 grand.
Now, why is your price so much higher? Would you just find it way less fun than do you hate clam chowder?
I'm not really a fan of clam chowder.
So the smell, would the smell get to you after a while?
No,
the
it's just the fact I'm sitting in a hot tub with fucking soup, dude.
With
so
soup?
10 grand.
If it was a soup you liked, if it was like minestrone or something that you enjoy.
10 grand either way.
10 grand.
Soup.
10 grand straight up. All right, Zach, for you, how much would it cost for you to go?
2 loaves of fresh bread.
2 loaves of fresh bread to eat with?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Dip into the soup that I'm swimming in.
I would say I'm probably somewhere.
Love clam chowder.
I love New England clam chowder. And
I like Manhattan too.
Manhattan isn't bad. It really isn't bad.
Nope.
It doesn't get as much respect, I believe. And
It
James
does.
is
No,
giving
'cause
it
it's
Fucking
love.
Manhattan
bad.
clam chowder gets no respect.
Yeah, and I would say I fall probably between James-O and Justin, but it's probably, I mean, I'll take the 2 loaves of bread, but I would say probably closer to the 1,000 mark.
It's a free meal.
It's a free meal. It's pretty good. All right, now that kind of ties into the second question, which is kind of like that was 1A. This is 1B. All right. How much would it cost for you? And again, we'll start with James-O on this one. To eat a gallon of the New England clam chowder that one of us had dumped all over our body. You do not know which one of us it is. You have to eat a whole gallon of it.
Gallon, dude?
A gallon of
Dude,
it.
that's a lot
You
of
got 3 days.
a lot of fucking
you got 3
clam
days
chowder.
to eat it, right? You can
Okay,
eat it
3
slowly
days.
over 3 days.
That's doable.
All right, but you don't know which one of us it was on, and it's not like we were warned about this happening, so we were just in whatever natural state that we were when this happened, and the only thing we had on was it could be the one from your tub. For all you know, they use the same clam
I don't like
chowder
this at
over
all,
and over again.
Yeah.
Justin is getting 10 grand just to do what you did for 1,000. So how much is it going to cost you to eat over 3 days a gallon of sweaty man juice New England clam chowder? How much would you charge?
I would do that for 25,000 American dollars.
25? That's respectable. That's respectable because really you're probably not going to get sick. And no, there's no rules against vomiting it up once you're done. But over 3 days, I mean, it's, you actually have to imbibe it. I'm not saying you have to digest
tough, man.
it.
It's 3 days of fucking
All right,
soup.
Justin, you've already said you hate. James-O went from 1,000 to do it to 25 grand to eat it. You don't like New England clam chowder.
I'm not a fan. I mean, I will eat it, but I'm not.
But you're not going to eat a gallon over the next 5 years, let alone a gallon over the next. I'm just imagining like a milk. It's going to be put into a milk jug, and you got to out of the milk jug, shake it into your mouth.
I can't heat it up in a pot.
Okay, fine. I'm just imagining.
Make it nice, you know, have a fucking meal out of it.
Yeah. I got these loaves of bread. What the fuck you want me to do? All right. How much would it cost for you to eat the gallon? 35. All right. So you're going. So now you're at a total of 45,000 if you've done both. Yeah. James was at 26. Zach, how much would it cost for you? How many more loaves of bread or fish would it take for you?
Probably $100.
$100. You would eat it.
You see, I got 3 days, and that's like 4 or 5 really nice meals of clam chowder.
It's true.
I'm gonna heat it up again.
Yep.
I'm not worried about your
ball sweat and our shit particles.
But I do want to get paid for it.
You want to get paid.
It's like if I'm pouring it on myself, I will willingly do it.
You're willing to do it because you'll eat some while it's going in, and you'll be like, whatever. I got
right.
this.
I would eat out of the hot tub.
It's not the most ideal clam chowder, but if I get paid $100 to eat it,
and it can be the best clam chowder in the world, like literally like straight out of New England, like fucking like Newport, Rhode Island, top of the line, $20 a bowl's worth. You know, clam chowder. It could be the best, or it could be Progresso if that's like your thing. When I thought this up, it immediately made me like gag in my mouth, and I think I'm probably closer to the $50,000 mark on this one. Yeah. I think that would just kind of. again, I'd probably take closer to $1,000 to get it poured all over me because, again, I'll eat some of it, and it's just going to be a funny story, and I hope you get to keep the protective underpants and everything when it's all done. I haven't talked
protective
to them about
underpants.
Yeah, the protective underpants.
Can you choose to do it naked?
You could do it naked. I was just saying to protect your butthole and your dick and balls or your vagina.
No,
and if
I
you're a
think
lady
you
and
probably
you got
want
super
to
sensitive
protect.
nipples.
You want to protect the soup from my butthole. Right?
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, so I probably about around 50 grand.
Jesus
all
Christ.
right. So we're done with the New England clam chowder. We're done with it.
All right. I'm
And
glad that's not escalating any further.
It's
That
not.
makes me happy.
It's not. How much would it cost for you to eat the shit after I ate a gout? No.
$200.
$200. Not gonna do it. Right. So
Good thing, bro.
first, or the next question. How much would it cost? Again, we'll start with James. So, how much would it cost for you to have any finger of your choosing amputated all the way down to past the last digit, down to the bare knuckle, and it will immediately be cauterized shut, that wound? So it's not like you can go take your finger and go get it. It's going to be
You get a prosthetic. We're talking
you get a
about
prosthetic. You can do that. That's fine. We're going to cut you. It's just going to be the cleanest, the easiest cut. Like, obviously it's going to be painful, but it's not going to be like somebody torturing you with like pliers cutting your finger off slowly, or a rusty nail or something like that. It is going to be like precision, surgical, sliced right off and then cauterized shut. You get to pick the finger, you get to pick the hand. How much money is it costing you for one of your 10 fingers to be sliced off?
Does it matter which one?
No, you can even say which one you'd pick. I'm leaving that 100% up to you.
Because I'm trying to think, like, what do I specifically always use certain fingers for? And I feel like the one I use the least might be my left pinky, even though I'm extremely left-handed.
Yeah.
I don't use my pinky to hold a guitar pick or anything like that.
True. Yeah.
I don't know. So
true.
maybe I can afford to lose that one, and that would cost $30 million American dollars.
$30 million American dollars.
Yes.
Would you include in that that you have to have like anesthesia, or would you do $30 million with just no anesthetic at all?
I would do no anesthetic for $30 million.
For $30 million. All right, Justin, for you.
I don't think I could fucking do it.
You don't think you can do it?
No.
What is so important to you in your life that your fingers need to be there for you?
I don't know. I play drums.
Okay.
Play games.
Yeah.
Do a lot of fucking shit with keyboards.
Is there a finger that would be the least? Would it, because I think, like, I'm thinking like James, I think the left pinky for me, but then he said the thing about guitar, so now I'm thinking the right pinky because I'm a righty. Like, I was thinking about opening doors. My pinky really doesn't help me with that. Like, I can do that with the others. And again, holding a guitar pick, you don't really need that. Holding a microphone, it doesn't really matter. So I'm leading. Do you think there's any one finger that would be less important for you?
I don't think so.
No? So just 100%, you would not lose a finger optionally. No. Would not. Now, if they could cut it off but not cauterize, and then you wouldn't even do that out of fear that it wouldn't come back the right way?
Something's going to be fucked up.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Probably. All right, Zach, how many loaves of bread, pieces of fish, or gumballs is it going to take and which finger? Gumballs that you can throw at people. You can put them in a paintball gun and shoot them at people. You don't have to eat your gumball.
Now, I'm thinking probably my ring finger on my right hand.
Ring finger on the right hand? All right, so you still get the dexterity of
having
the pinky and the
like
thumb.
James said with the guitar pick.
Yeah.
I'm going to hold...
That's a really
in
good
my
point.
right
I didn't
hand.
even think about the guitar.
That's my thumb and my pointer. And then I'm thinking about playing piano. If I got rid of the pinky, that gives you less stretch.
Yeah, your
so
stretch is
the one
gone.
next to it, as you can still get the stretch to
All
play
right.
seventh chords.
Oh.
Which is really important.
It is. No, it is. Now, how much to get that finger cut off, cauterized, right down to the nugget? I feel like you also might just slowly evolve that your hand would just get like closer together because that's
one of my buddy's dads he's missing his pointer. He's been missing it for like 30 years.
Yeah.
And that's his trigger finger on his gun and everything.
Oh, jeez.
And he has just completely become like it doesn't.
It's four fingers.
Like
it doesn't matter.
like and this like
he's
the
a
knuckle
cartoon
is
character.
like gone. Like you would never notice it.
Yeah.
Ever until you really look. You're like, Ron, you got fucking four fingers.
Now, when you get married, does your ring go on your right ring finger? Does it go on your right? It goes on your right one, right?
No, I don't know, left hand.
I don't know. None of us are married enough to know. By that, I mean we're not married.
I
That
would
goes on your
probably
list.
do it for
Oh, left. Okay.
$500,000.
$500,000. You do it for $500,000.
Tax-free.
Tax-free. Oh, obviously, all this is tax-free.
Yeah.
100%.
No,
All right.
I mean, if I'm gonna have to live without a body part, I want to be able to make sure I don't have to ever like work again. So yeah,
But it's just your
$30 million.
fingers. You could work literally
See,
almost any job still without
But
a
Zach
finger.
also
I'm not
has-
saying fucking. If they're offering money, dude.
Yeah, take as much as you can. Zach is also a person that works in a line of he's in a line of business where he could just randomly lose one of those fingers if somebody or himself did something stupid.
Yeah, right?
You could get to that.
Damn.
So $500,000 buys a lot of nice trucks and equipment that you could then turn into.
Yeah, I'm thinking. I'm trying to think realistically.
Yeah,
you know?
realistically. This is a very realistic situation that
Yeah,
I'm putting
it
you in.
is.
All right. I would say that I thought of this and I put it around the $5 million mark. I thought, how much if. I've heard like people suing like employers when something happens and they sue basically going like, I was 36 and I could have worked for the next 30 years and I would have made X amount, blah, blah, blah. And it always seems to be in like the $3 to $8 million range when you hear a story like that they like are basically being covered for the rest of what their natural career would have been. So I'm thinking same way I think it's James of the having to work and stuff like that. I bartend. So any finger is going to ruin my dexterity. I work in a kitchen along with that. So just, like it's just going to throw me off for a while. I'll eventually adapt to it. I will adapt to it. But I honestly, originally I was thinking the left pinky because I was like, what the fuck do I do with that? But yeah, I would not be able to play like a fucking chord on my guitar without that finger. Right. So definitely going off my strumming hands. Definitely coming off.
As long as I can play guitar, use a keyboard, throw a baseball, stuff like that, drive a car. I figured I can lose my left pinky.
Hey, with $30 million, you can get a self-driving vehicle for yourself.
It's true.
It'll do it, or a person that drives for you.
True.
Exactly.
You could definitely do that. Hey, I'll give you $500,000.
And my price was so high because it's like
you could pay Zach $500,000 to cut off one of his fingers just for fun.
That's the thing. Like, for me, the reason my price is so high is like you're literally surrendering a part of yourself you're never getting back. So it's like.
We do that every week on this fucking show.
Yes, we do.
It's got my dignity, and no one's giving me a cent yet.
No, our dignity is not worth anything. All right, guys. Final question that I have prepared here. How much would it cost? And again, we'll start with James-O. For you to get the bands that you hate the most in the world, the band that you despise more than anything, how much would it cost for you to get that band's name or their logo prominently tattooed somewhere on your body, whether it's on your hands, your neck, your head, something that you are not going to cover up with just like maybe like a short sleeve t-shirt.
Christ.
A, what would the band be? And B, how much would it cost for you to get that tattooed on you for forever? It's going to be like you can't get it digitally removed. You can get, if you get it on your...
removed?
Yeah, or whatever laser removal. Laser removal. Can't get it digitally removed.
Take it off in post.
Take it off in post.
Wait, their logo or their name?
The logo or their name. So it's like if it's a band that doesn't have a prominent logo, that like you don't really like. If it's Aerosmith and you hate Aerosmith more than anything in the world, you can get either the Wings Aerosmith thing or just their name. But you probably go with the Wings one. But like Bon Jovi, I don't really know a symbol for Bon Jovi. Right. You can get their font that they use on like Slippery When Wet or another album. But you have to get it prominently, visibly. People have to be able to see it. So you're going to get stuck in conversations every single day about this band that you hate. People just going up to you going, so big Avenged Sevenfold fan, right? You got to deal with that conversation.
Oh, man, they're up there. I would say... I mean, for more than just the fact that your music sucks, I really, really hate Five Finger Death Punch.
Oh, yeah.
And,
that's a good choice.
I think to have their stupid fucking... I think they have like a logo that's like kind of like the Pentagon or something I think I've seen.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. I can't tell.
Weird like that. Yeah, it's five-sided something. But
yeah, and like... Or even just their stupid fucking name. If I had that tattooed anywhere on me and what was the clause said I couldn't remove it?
You can't remove it at any point. You can't get it removed
ever.
In post digitally.
Yeah, it has to be somewhere that's constantly sort of showing.
What about
so, like your
can
neck,
you get other like
your head?
So like it's somewhere big, but can you just fill the rest of your body with tattoos?
Oh yeah, you can be 100% covered in tattoos.
Oh, okay.
So
Then you
it
might not
becomes
notice
less,
it,
like obvious. That'd probably be what you would have to do to get through your life after that.
I would do that for $1 million.
$1 million. And what
Yeah.
you said it would be Five Finger Death Punch for sure. That'd be the band.
Mostly, yeah.
That would be the worst
they don't just
conversation
suck.
to get
Like
in. Their fans are terrible.
they're wanted for crimes against music. Most of their career, I think, has been like bad cover songs.
Yeah,
Okay.
it has been.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
they're fucking so bad. And they all look like assholes. They're like super like bootlickers. They fucking suck. Like fuck that band. Oh, they're just the worst.
All right. Okay. So Justin, what about you? What band would it be?
It'd be Nickelback.
Okay.
I don't
just
know if
go
they have
for
a
it.
logo or not,
I don't know.
but it
it's a
would
guy handing you a nickel. That's
either way.
if that was it'd be a little bit less conspicuous too.
250 million.
250
Because I'm
million?
walking. I'm a walking
Dude, what
billboard
about if
for
you
him at
had
that time. But at that point, I'm walking billboard.
NCKLBACK on your knuckles,
Oh
dude.
yeah.
Exactly.
It's very prominent, and people would be asking you all the time. What would be the worst part about having Nickelback tattooed on you? Being the walking
The
advertising?
fact that it's on.
That's on you.
Yeah.
So it would bother you more knowing that it's
Probably.
there. Would it bother you to have conversations with people, or would you just immediately be like, it was a thing. I got paid $350 million. Go fuck
Here's
yourself.
the worst part of any of this. All right, here's if you have a shitty band's logo prominently on you, even if you're just wearing their shirt, people will want to talk to you about that band.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
Sure.
And you're gonna face that the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Dude,
why
yeah,
it's
Nickelback.
300
I remember 01. Like,
That's why it's 250 million. Fuck it.
yeah, that's.
Respectable.
You know what? I'm gonna raise my price. Give me another 25 million.
All right. Fair enough. Zach, any bands? What is the band and how much would it cost for you to get their image, their likeness, their fucking
I'm trying to think
logo,
of what band
whatever it is?
would be something like Simple Plan, maybe.
Oh man,
yeah.
get a full size
Glory.
back tattoo of like every band
That's
So you
member.
can never
Yeah.
wear a shirt. Yeah, that's another thing. You can get a chest piece. You're just not allowed to wear a shirt, or you have to wear a mesh shirt. Like it has to be
Can I
readable.
Look at the mesh shirt, dude,
does
with the
that
Simple
hold
Plan
up,
tattoo.
When I have to go to church for
Sure.
a funeral?
Yeah,
Sure.
all the time it has to
Just
be
no
visible.
shirt?
Yeah. They're shirtless Zach.
It's a crazy person with
Yeah.
a Simple
Sure,
Plan
Zach,
tattoo.
he's a big Simple Plan fan.
All right.
How
so
could this
Simple Plan.
happen to me?
And then your kids will just see you and be like, "What's a dad for? Dad, tell me why I'm here, Dad." And that's not, I think that's yellow card. That might even be yellow card. What was
Really?
theirs?
Either or. I'll get
Yeah.
I'll get both fucking bands tattooed
Yeah.
on me.
All right.
That sounds
For
terrible.
$2.5 million.
$2.5 million. $2.5 million. That's a life-changing amount of money. That
all
is
I
a-
want to say here is all of you highly overvalue yourself.
Yes. Oh, I definitely overvalue
Especially
myself.
Justin.
Yeah, fuck
Justin,
it.
you think you are a pompous fuck, and I didn't learn that about you until just now.
What the
I've
fuck?
been with you for like
Why?
9
Because I said
years.
250 million to have somebody's logo on me all the time.
And because you said you wouldn't eat for no amount of money, you'd eat the curry.
No,
You're
I'm not a fan of
You're
fucking
fucking
curry.
stupid. No amount of money. Your fucking
Some amount of
conscience
money,
is worth an infinite amount of fucking money.
Yeah.
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 You're right.
Fact.
You could fucking die in a fire because
Thanks,
that is the most pompous shit I've ever heard anyone say.
Oh
Wow.
my God! All
You're
right,
enjoying your bread.
Well, Zach, enjoy your
And my
bread.
money, and my fucking Simple Plan tattoos.
Yeah, Zach kind of jumped
Oh,
into the
God.
vein of where I was thinking, because I always thought like if I had just gotten a shitty tattoo of a band I liked like 20 years ago that I don't like anymore, like how that would suck to have to explain it. Like I know guys who have straight edge tattoos and they have to explain to people, they're like, "Oh, edge," and you're just like, "Nah, I was drunk." And thought it would be funny, or I got it when I was 19, and now I just have to stick with it for the rest of my life. Or I'd just say I really like porn XXXs everywhere on my body.
That's sad.
Yeah.
I know more than a few people that got straight edge tattoos back when, getting any kind of tattoo was just the trendiest thing you could do, and I haven't seen some of those people in a long time. I wonder if they're still straight edge.
Yeah, I always think about certain tattoos on certain people, and if they with the straight edge thing, because I knew one guy when I lived in LA. Actually, he was a comic book artist for Marvel that my sister was friends with. Lived in New York, and he would visit LA all the time. and he had 3 X's tattooed on the back of his neck in the exact same fashion that Vin Diesel had them in the movie Triple X.
Hell yeah.
And so he had them.
So they were red and terrible?
Before the movie came out. Like,
Right.
he thought that one of his designer friends saw his tattoo and designed that character. Like, he legitimately was like, I work in comic book art. There's a very good chance somebody saw my tattoo.
Wow.
And that inspired them to do that. And now it's even worse because now I have to go to certain people, no, I'm not straight edge, and B, no, I don't like Vin Diesel movies. But Zach, with Simple Plan or a Yellow Card, you kind of were treading on the grounds that I was going to go into, and it would be a band that I never really like. 2 bands really could be either or, but the one would be worse. If it would be a Good Charlotte tattoo.
Oh man, I'd love a good. I'll
like
fucking
the
get
G.
I'll pay for a Good Charlotte.
The
tattoo.
GC
Oh, yeah.
one
no.
with like stars, like and everything, like so
Yeah.
2004. It would be the worst because I know too much of their music to just like lie. Like I know just from being alive at
Yeah,
that
we all
point,
do.
having like female friends that like them, guy friends even that like
They were
them.
a big band.
They were huge.
I didn't know any guys that liked them.
I knew a lot of guys, and the guys that I knew that liked them
I liked them.
liked my second option, which would be
I like the
Mess.
first album, honestly.
Mess sucks.
Mess
I mean-
was terrible, and I think I
This is
saw
so
them with Good Charlotte, and they just both kind of went, eh. I saw Good Charlotte live. They were on a tour with Less Than Jake and Newfound Glory, and they were like the headliner, so it was perfect. You could leave right after Newfound Glory.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It was great. But yeah, like The Lifestyles of the Rich and the Famous is an annoyingly fucking catchy song that is not a
It's better
great
than their
song.
other one, the other big hit there. That song sucks shit.
They had a couple of bad ones. and
Anthem or whatever? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, Anthem
Dude,
Part
the
2
river,
or
Sucks.
something.
the river
Yeah.
is a good song.
I was just gonna say
the river is a good
with
song.
Sinister Gates on that.
Yes.
You guys are
Sinister
cutting
Gates
out
on
for
that.
me.
It is so odd, and then they also do a great vocal guest appearance on a Goldfinger. It's Goldfinger. Good Charlotte and somebody else did like a post 9/11 like pro America punk anthem thing, and it's just a catchy fucking song. So for me, it would be the fact that I know enough about them. I was around during that time that it would be super convincing that I would just be a huge Good Charlotte fan. And I think the sad thing is that I would probably eventually just wind up being like, fucking just succumb to it and just know everything about Good Charlotte. And for that, I was putting it, my initial thought was going to be around $1 million, because then I'll just deal with it. And then kind of what you were saying, Zach, I could just finish tattooing the rest of my body with some of that money, so you don't care about the GC that's like on my hand or on my neck. Like that would be the worst. It was just a giant Good Charlotte across my throat.
And it was the only tattoo.
And it was
you
the
had.
only tattoo I had.
That
was
would be
a
horrible.
throat Good Charlotte. It would be
Jesus
fucking
Christ.
awful.
But if you had a shitload of tattoos,
yeah.
I don't think it
Yeah.
would be as big like of a deal.
Because you know what I would do next? I would get a
obviously
tattoo
not.
right underneath it that said Bad Charlotte, just to be extra dumb. Be like, Good Charlotte, Bad
Or
Charlotte.
just sucks.
Yeah, it sucks. Yeah, add sucks to it. Yeah, you can't change the actual thing, but you can do whatever you want around it.
True.
Like, all you want.
Okay, no, here's what you
Just
do.
say,
Here's what you do.
I don't like this band. Don't ask me about this band. I hate this band.
You get the band tattoo, right? The band that sucks. Next to it or under it or whatever, you get a tattoo of Beavis and Butthead making that face they would make when they really hated something. Just like,
Yes.
you know,
Yeah.
just like the stink face. Like, there you go. Done.
Yeah, you got to turn it into a joke, definitely. All right, well, James, thanks for joining us. We're still going to keep you on as we continue, but that wraps up my how much would it cost. I enjoyed this. I think we might come back to stupid ideas like this in the future.
They were good. I thought they were going to be dumb questions like, how much would it cost to punch your mom?
Well,
in
here's the
face?
thing. Here's the
Like,
thing.
that's such a shitty thing.
I was going to
have,
preface
you know?
the whole thing. I was going to
Like,
preface.
yeah, there's a price,
Yeah.
but I don't want
Yeah.
to say it.
Yeah, like.
Yeah, right.
Sorry, mom.
Exactly. And I was going to say that the whole idea came to me from the every guy has either asked this question or been asked this question at some point. And I don't think I'm assuming with the way that the culture has changed over the last 20 years that kids in high school still don't maybe they do ask the question of how much would it cost for you to suck a dick, man? And it's always just like the dumb question that people would ask, like, oh, would you suck a dick for $1 million? And I'd just be like, yeah, I'd suck a dick for $1 million. Yes, like I would suck a dick for $1 million. And they'd be like, fucking queer, and you're just like, really? Like, really?
God.
You are propositioning me. Basically, in my head, I'm thinking you got a fucking $1 million, and you're like, how much is it gonna cost? Like, you're the one. So that's like the antiquated idea of where this came from. But I wanted to make them as weird and bizarre and out there.
Yeah.
And I'm really craving New England clam chowder right now. So I could eat some clam chowder right now. And halfway through,
Would you suck clam chowder out of a dick for $1 million?
would you? Yeah. That actually might make it less than $1 million at that point. If at the end of it wasn't gross cummy comes, it was delicious.
Oh, you had to take a load, but it was
New England clam chowder.
good ass clam
Like
chowder.
really good clam chowder. That drops it under $100 grand,
Yeah,
baby.
that's
man.
not
a
as
load.
bad.
Again, I'm getting a meal out of this, not just a little bit of protein.
Oh yeah, how about you suck a dick and get a meal?
Oh, that
All right,
urethra's
but here's
gotta
the
be
other
big
stipulation.
for all
Ready?
that chunky potato and shit to come through.
It's gonna be enough to hurt you, and it has to take place in an Arby's bathroom.
Oh.
Wait, enough clam chowder to hurt you?
Yes.
Like you're choking and gagging
No,
on
dude,
it.
I've had a horrible
Clam chowder and
experience in the
tears running
Arby's
down your
bathroom.
face. Yes, you have. Oh, you have.
God.
And that's an Easter egg for a past
And that wasn't
episode.
clam chowder; it was more like split pea soup.
It was. It was. All right. So every week I like to listen to our Brother Sister Love podcast. Let me ask you a question and hear what weird question Anthony has proposed to the gentleman. I actually am the featured guest on next week's episode.
Nice.
And it'll be out on this upcoming Monday, and we'll talk all about it. The question is aimed basically for you guys, the two of you, to have to answer a question that Anthony thought would be funny to hear you answer when we did this segment. He's a huge fan of it. He's really enjoying everything we're doing, and he especially appreciates me not wearing any pants in this little ditty. So let's hit it. Let me ask you a question from Let Me Ask You a Question.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question.
All right. Okay. As I was saying, Let Me Ask You a Question drops every Monday with the Moot Monday drop alongside Kyle Mocha Won't Shut Up. Again, available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or just Podcasts, or iTunes, or the iTunes, and Stitcher for podcasts.
Open up your Bible, get some Godcasts.
Godcasts. Oh my goodness. There's definitely a podcast called The Godcast, and if
There
not,
has
we're
to be.
starting that like right now. We're never going to talk
Welcome to Godcast this week.
Kyle Mocha Won't
Why
Shut
you're
Up.
going to hell,
Oh, we can
Kyle.
just do that every week. Different instead of confession, we oh my god,
A
we got a new
podcast
idea.
of confession where we
confessional
say all the
podcast.
bad shit we
Yep,
did last week.
We're on to a new thing. We're on to a
Oh
new
my
thing.
god.
It's
no.
called "Forgive Me, Father, I Have Sinned," or 12 Hail Marys, something like that. All right, so this week's episode, Anthony asked a very, very simple question. And he had I forget who the other guy was on it, but Brian Bonds, who is a really awesome musician. He plays with Kevin Devine. I think he's played with Brand New at some point. He was like, because Kevin Devine's like the backup bass player or musician for Brand New, and since Brian played with Kevin Devine, I think there's like some line, some like, you know, way to becoming president that he could have become in Brand New if like something happened. But he's a really awesome musician. One of Eric, our super producer EJ5000, one of his former roommates and bandmates. They've been in a bunch of groups together over the years. So they were on, and he asked this question: was there a point in your life, and again we'll go to James-O for the answer first on this one, was there a point in your life where you were actually worried about the size of your penis? Was there a point in your life where you were actually worried, and whether it was a whole era of your life, whether it was an individual moment, was there ever a time where you were genuinely worried about the size of your penis, for better or worse?
Well, I think like a lot of guys, unless you're just like objectively like crazy big, the first time you like start rooting around in porn, you go, huh, You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it makes you think for a sec. Like, is there
that
something wrong with
normal?
me, or
Yeah.
is there something? I don't know.
Yeah. She fit 4
but then,
hands
like-
on that thing.
But you know what? Like you worry about that, and then like one day happens where like you change in a locker room full of other dudes your age, and you realize, oh no, I'm fine.
Yeah. So earlier you did specifically
Yeah,
have,
it's
like,
not something I've really spent much time worrying about as an adult. No.
All right,
Like,
all right.
When I was a kid, it was like on my mind sometimes. Sure.
But I do think the porn thing is, I think they touched on too in their episode. And when you see a porn for the first time and you're like, oh, you don't think, oh, they're bringing you like the top 1% of dicks. Like they're giving you like, the
doesn't
best.
really
have
cross
to,
your mind
'cause,
at
dude,
first.
if you loaded up a porno, it was some fucking stacked porn star, and then some fucking dude with an average ass dick that looked just like yours, you'd be like, oh, that sort of sucks.
Yeah. Now I can
But,
get
like,
some people get.
I don't know if I'd
It's
feel
not
that way.
It's not the dude's dick that's doing it for me, but if
You sure?
much like the bass guitar, if it wasn't there,
Yeah.
if it wasn't prominent or big
It's
enough,
the old Ron
you're,
White bit.
you're gonna notice that it's not, that something's not right.
It's the Ron White bit where the guy is saying like, you know, like, I'm 100% straight. He goes, well, ask me, you ever watch pornography? And he's just like, yeah. He's like, you ever watch pornography that wasn't just 2 women? And the guy's like, yeah. He goes, now when you're watching that pornography between a man making love to a woman, do you want to see a tiny, soft, little flaccid penis? The guy's like, no, I want to see a giant, rock-hard cock.
Me too, bud. If I'm watching porn, I want to
makes
see a
sense.
fucking monster dick.
Now, there
All
are
right.
definitely subgenres of porn where you're going to get a more realistic, like hot teen fucks, you know, old man, and it's just like old man. Or hot, you know, fucking MILF fucks tiny fucking dicked dude. Like, there's... Sure, there
Yeah,
are.
I guess it's out there.
It's out there. It's out there.
I don't know. James is like, fuck it.
Yeah, well, Kyle,
you're-
it cut out completely. I don't know. I couldn't hear him
all right,
at all.
we're getting you back here. Now, Justin, for you, is there ever a point in your life where that was like a prominent worry in your brain, the size of your penis?
Sure.
Yeah?
For sure.
Was it like a long-lasting, like through puberty thing, or was it like right about like
Justin
first
was
time?
worried it was too big.
It was too big. Justin,
No, there have been times
where you were worried it was too big?
Just
Jesus
matching
Christ,
people.
man! Because you're dating someone that was 4'7", and you're like, I'm gonna rip you in half right now.
I said that as a joke.
Yeah. No. His
but yeah.
handle is Bear Greasy, which means like from the mountain or whatever.
Giant.
The mountain is his cock. His pants are a church, and his dick is a very tall steeple. His dick is the
Oh, St.
tallest.
Peter's fucking Basilica.
Oh Jesus! So you were worried about that.
That's
What-
what you
Now, were
swear.
you ever, as one of the only people I know that actually might have a large penis? Did you ever worry like as a kid like? Oh my God, I have a giant like dick, and I'm gonna be like, people are gonna make fun of me about it. Were you ever negatively worried about it in that way,
No.
or just I might hurt this human being with my wiener?
No. Like, I don't think I ever worried about it, but I think I fucking went through puberty a little bit later. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Like,
You didn't become a
Or when
giant
I was-
man until you were like 14.
yeah, it was pretty much. I was a little bit older, and then I fucking sprouted. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like,
Okay.
I was always big, but not like to where I am.
And the
now.
growth sprout reflected in your pants, in your trousers.
Sure.
All of a sudden, but were you weirded out? Did one day you wake up and you just had a giant hog? You went from having like a tiny worthless little like piece of flesh to a giant hog? No, it gradually got there.
I think so.
All right,
don't-
Justin's
honestly,
got
I
a
don't
big
fucking
dick.
remember.
It took 4 seasons of this show for us to get to Justin has a giant hog. That's great. New address to send things to: 123 Justin sucks and has a giant dick. PA.
Real question, Justin, you gonna start an OnlyFans?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking
It's gonna be Bear
OnlyFans.
Greasy.
Yeah.
He's
Jack
gonna,
and
like,
Justin.
Jack and Justin.
Oh my God.
that
I'm gonna need to get a bigger phone.
Jesus Christ.
All right, Zach, with your equally large giant cock over
No,
there.
I got a fucking baby cock.
Yeah, I know.
man.
Were you ever? You were one person. You're kind of like me. I openly admit to not having a big dick all of the time. Was there ever a point
See,
where?
yeah, probably when I was younger, I was worried about it.
Yeah.
And then I realized that if I just told people that my dick was small, then it didn't matter.
Exactly.
Like, no one's gonna be like, oh, look how small your dick. Be like, I told you.
Yeah. Yeah,
I know,
I always took the
And you
approach.
know what? It never stopped me from getting busy.
No, exactly. It might have helped me. See, we're on the same page here. I definitely said multiple times to everybody I knew that I had a really small dick. And when I started smoking cigarettes, and we'd be like at like Perkins in the smoking section, I would take the ashtray like this, and I would take the cigarette like this, and someone would be like, "How big's your dick?" And I'd be like, "All right, see my cigarette? Hold on 1 second." I'd sit there and like, take a hit. They'd be like, "That's why." I'll be like, "Wait," and I'd go like this. There you go. What just fell off? And then my mentality has always been, if you tell a girl that you've got a fun-sized Snicker in your pants, and she gets in there and it's a little bit bigger than a fun-sized Snicker in your pants, she's gonna be like, "Well, the color's not right, but the size is pretty impressive, and I'm down with this." I've always tried to get out in front of it, but there was, I mean, I'd be lying if I said I didn't have anxiety before. Anytime it's like right before, like you've been dating somebody, if like you're doing it like the nice way and you're like kind of like waiting, and then all of a sudden you're like, "All right, we're gonna start getting hot and heavy." I always have a brief anxiety attack of just like, I don't want to be the smallest dick you've ever seen.
See,
And
that's
my worry.
The only
I don't want to be
time-
the smallest you've ever seen.
It's hit me like when I was a kid, yeah, but a couple years ago, I took a vacation to the nudist resort.
Oh yeah.
So I had been naked around tons of people all the time. I didn't give a shit. I was way over that until we were on this fucking catamaran. Me and a whole bunch of other people, and there's this dude.
Everybody's naked. Everybody's naked.
Yeah, everyone's naked.
Yeah.
People are getting it
And this
on.
is the hedonism resort? Yeah,
too.
down in Jamaica.
And so I was like, there's a bar on the boat. So I was like, all right, anybody need a drink from the bar? And so, like, people said whatever. I walked down to the bar, which is, like, a couple steps down on the deck.
Yeah.
And, like, I'm talking to the bartender. I can look straight out over the bow of the ship there.
Right.
And there's just this fucking... the biggest penis I've ever seen.
Flaccid or hard?
No, hard.
Oh.
Dude just... girl going to town on me.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Just like...
she gagging, spitting.
But
into,
yeah,
like, gross...
but it's like, because I'm like 4 steps down into the bar.
Yeah.
It's eye level with everyone on the lower deck.
On your arm, where did it... Okay, on my arm,
It
where
must
does
have
it...
been from my elbows to my fucking
Oh,
wrist. Shit was...
Jesus.
And, it was black guy.
Yeah.
And he was like ripped as fuck, too,
yeah.
like, and tall.
Can you
And just
imagine
like, this girl's
it
going...
not being that big?
And like,
Come on.
and
that's disappointing.
literally everyone on the boat, even the people who had been swingers forever, even the other people having sex and getting it on.
We're just staring at
and
this
my
guy's dick.
Everyone like was just like.
Did he
like,
give
everyone, like, out the
autographs?
side, and I was like, dude, can you like put it away?
Yeah.
Like
You're making everyone else
like
look
you're
bad,
making
man.
no one else is having a good time.
Yeah.
Because this dude's dick was that big.
That huge. That is...
It was so big that even people with big dicks were like,
Yeah, fuck
come
that
on,
guy.
guy. Like,
Now,
what the fuck is
now
wrong with you?
we're question just about everybody being naked. Were the workers naked too? Were like the
No.
bartenders naked?
No.
I don't know how it works. I've never been to hedonism 1 or 2.
No, the workers and the
15.
boat captain are not.
Okay, not naked. I just figured the boat captain had a hat on, and that was it. A hat
No,
on and
no,
an
they're
anchor.
all, they're like the same.
hanging
Like,
off his
you know how
giant
people
dick.
around here like work at the racetrack
Yeah.
or like Camel Beach?
Yeah.
That's the same level.
Yeah, but nobody's
of,
naked. Okay, at the racetrack they are. Never mind.
That's the same level of employees. Like,
Okay.
all right.
But they just have to look at dick
look at
all
these
day.
these tourists are coming in. Well, let's take care of them.
Now, do you think? I mean, in that exact environment, how much maybe did you learn about like our women being just as like they're naked and looking at like
no, this was the only time it was weird.
Yeah.
At no other point.
So super hot lady walks in and flabby old grandma's hanging out. Everyone's
nobody gives a
fine.
Shit.
Everybody's
or
fine.
like a dude with a big dick and
Yeah.
a dude with a small dick in the same room. But it's
Whatever.
not weird. It didn't get weird
Until
till
the
that
18-inch
one
cock.
specific
Yeah.
dude had a dick so enormously,
Yeah.
disgustingly large.
Now, was the girl he was with super small to make it look even more big, or was
she
she
wasn't.
just like
She wasn't big.
She wasn't
but
big.
I would say she's a normal size.
a normal size?
Human,
So
yeah.
I was just saying, because if you're like Shaq level and you've got what Shaq's wife,
No,
is
he
like,
wasn't. He wasn't Shaq level in tallness.
Height, okay.
You know? He was
Just a
He was.
big-
Yeah. He was just like a gym guy.
Yeah. He's probably hired by the club or by the resort to be like a cooler. Just be like, can you go on the boat and just make sure nobody gets too crazy today?
Yeah.
Like
just take him. Take him down a notch, Jimmy.
Take him down a notch, Jimmy.
Pull that fucking hammer out and bang it against the walls.
Yeah, call Becky. Becky and Jimmy, you need it on Dock 3 this afternoon.
That would be such a fucking great play by the resort. Keep everyone in check by bringing out this fucking freak of nature.
Just a stud walking around at all times. Now, did you happen to see it then when it was flaccid? Like after it was all...
No,
what the fuck, Kyle?
I'm just curious how much it deflates.
Jesus Christ.
Summer showers. I'm assuming people are showers and growers somewhere in the world as well. I'm assuming.
I did not see his flaccid penis.
Okay,
no.
Unfortunate.
You didn't catch him at a vulnerable moment?
Yeah, no, I don't think there is a vulnerable moment for that guy. He's just always just 3 seconds away from being...
I mean, his dick was probably bigger than mine soft.
Yeah.
Like, if his was soft and mine was hard, it was still probably...
I'm sure. I would not want to be in that situation next to that person naked. I would... even if you're hard, you're just sitting there like, oh, look at my... Ping! You gotta fucking...
It's like the old spring door stopper.
Yeah, exactly.
This guy's got a flagpole.
Yes, he's got a flagpole. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much, James, for joining us tonight, being here. Again, once this all ends, we'll go back to normal. We'll try to think of our next beer taste test that we're gonna do.
For sure.
But also a big...
we had an idea. It wasn't beer, remember, though? It was the
mixed drink thing? What were we gonna do?
the pre-packaged mixed drink versus a real one. Idea. That would be really fun to do.
James was getting really into like making like gourmet. Like I'm a bartender. James was making like real drinks that I would never make because I'm like, here's your shit sour mix and your shit whiskey, drink it, asshole. So we're gonna potentially do that. I think that's a good idea.
Cool.
And when this all ends, we'll be moving on to that. A big thank you to everybody over at Moot.tv, the guys that let me ask you a question. I had a really awesome time being on the show. And again, that'll be out next Monday. I'll just tease it a little bit that the question, whatever it might wind up being, I wind up talking about Anne Margaret's boobs for a little bit too long.
Anne Margaret?
Anne Margaret, yeah.
Hell
Anne
yeah.
Margaret was a hot, gorgeous redhead lady. She was in Viva Las Vegas, I believe, with Elvis. She is in the movie version of Bye Bye Birdie from like 1962.
When you said Anne Margaret, I just thought Margaret Thatcher.
Oh yeah, I have a huge thing for Margaret. Oh, that iron pussy. I love it. I love it. Especially when Meryl Streep cosplays as her.
Meryl Streep has never used the word cosplay.
No, she's not. She's not used the word cosplay or cosco probably ever. No, anything with cos in it. Cosby is probably the only word.
Costco?
Costco, yeah, but you don't say the T. Costco.
Cosworth.
Cosworth, maybe. All right. But yeah, so check out Let Me Ask You a Question, White Wasabi, over on Moot.tv. Big thank you to Eric, Greg, and Sir Anthony DeAngelis, Mr. Anthony of the Angels, as I like to call him lovingly.
Oh, I get it now.
DeAngelis. Anthony of the Angels, yes. I don't know what Dukoski means, so it's just Anthony of the or Eric of the Koski. That doesn't work. And Greg.
Sounds like a hockey family.
Yeah. Oh, definitely sounds like a hockey family.
Of the Koski.
He's not a hockey family, but he's Dukoski. Yeah. All right. So we will be back next week. And we're going to be having an awesome guest. Ted Filicetti is going to be on, and we're going to be showing I don't know if we're going to be doing the music video and one of the new songs.
I assume Ted is calling in.
Ted is calling in. Ted is going to be calling in. Yeah. So he'll be here. So stay tuned for that, and we'll have some new featured music. I forget who next week's feature. Oh, no, it's them. It's him and him. He's featured music and guest. There you go. I literally just said that. Yeah. Anyway, onwards, on we go. And big thank you to Mr. Justin Olimpedo for putting this all together, figuring out all the tech issues, and again, for being a person to set me up to actually be able to do a guest spot on the podcast. Yeah, and for having a huge cock. Thank you so much. And a big thank you to Zachary.
Clam chowder.
Stormin. All right, guys, here is our closing theme song to play us out. I'm Kyle Boca for Kyle Boca Won't Shut Up. We will see you next time. Thank you. As always, Zach's going to tell you to eat a dick. He's going to...
Not mine. Moot.tv.
One with chowder in it.
Chowder dick.
Chowder dick.
Chowder dick.
There's nothing more egomaniacal than singing the theme music.